Hello. Hello, all. I'm sitting a little taller today. I'm feeling a little bit bigger, a little more swole after everybody said I look like a midget. Oh, wait, you're not supposed to. I'm going to get in trouble for that word, a little person.
I think that's
God dang it. Cut that part out, Bryce. A little late for that.
Do we have a 7-second delay?
No, we do not. All right. So when you drop some F-bombs, watch your children, people. Yeah, so we're here. We're live. I'm getting caught up one step at a time out there working on two of my most beloved things, interiors and Corvettes, all in the same sentence. Yeah. So what's going on? Anything exciting?
Let's see. We have people always like to check in and tell us where they're listening from. So Dan, as always, from Minneapolis. He placed an order today.
Cool.
Dan Pfeiffer. For complete OG spec Mosmatic Swiveling Spray and Wand solution. And then it's already shipped in the time since then. So
yeah, we're good. We're caught up.
Yeah, it helps to have everything here that we need.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings from Sweden. David is checking in from Sweden. Nicholas, the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Aunt Dar, your Aunt Dar is checking in here from Pennsylvania.
Cool.
So Darlene Snyder. Let's see. Jeff from Oregon, our Nike buddy. Toronto. Oh, we got a Canadian here. Good evening from England near Newcastle. Hey there, Scott. Yeah, it's 7 p.m. there. Malta, Greece. I think people are just making this up. They're like sitting in Nebraska somewhere. New Jersey, D.C. There we go.
Yeah.
All over. So glad to have them here.
That's cool.
We're in Central Florida. Toronto, more Toronto. Gulfport, Mississippi, Australia. Okay. The Netherlands. There we go. So what's going on? What video were you working on? I think you were working on a video over there before you got...
Yeah, we're shooting Alcantara sanding and leather care on the Corvette. I may have vacuumed it once, but I don't even know if I've done that. So I literally am cleaning the interior for the first time. So I'm out there. You can smell it on my Alcantara cleaner all over me. But we're getting the seats cleaned, Alcantara cleaned, leather treated. I'm going to be sanding some of the fuzzy stuff off of some of the pieces that I couldn't just replace. And we're wrapping the thing up. We're putting the factory headers back on. We'll be putting the rear carbon fiber splitter thinger from APR Performance and the under tray on Sunday. I'm not videoing that. I'm having David do that for me. So we decided, factory headers are going to be the way to go. So putting factory headers back on. And then I'm going to leave the Corsa exhaust. It makes it more saleable that way, and then someone could do headers if they wanted to. The headers that I have don't really fit, so and I bet you it's also a combination of the car being lowered and the angle of the steering shaft may be different. I don't know what the geometry or how that works, but I'm assuming there's some adjustment to that. So anyway, the car is going to be listed for sale here probably in the next week or two. So I'll be completing it and getting it out of my life. And I just decided I'm just going to punt. I'm going to lose the money and move on. So
the M5 is for sale as well, right?
Yep. Yeah. So I think I'm going to list the Corvette for $90 and the M5 for $75 and let everybody yell at me how I'm a horrible human and I'm so stupid and modifications aren't worth anything. And all that crap. So I say my middle fingers are up. They're just in my pockets. And we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Let's see here. Christopher Baker asked a good question here in the chat. I know we can help him with this. He's building a house later this year. Is Swiss Track something I can install myself, or should I hire someone else to do it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you have even moderate, like if you could change your own oil, then you could do Swiss Tracks. If you can mount a picture on a wall straight, then you can do Swiss Tracks. So, the laying out of the floor is super easy. The harder part is making the cuts. But if you're not super mechanically inclined, just make sure you buy like 10 extra tiles in case you make a couple of wonky cuts. But yeah, you can absolutely do it yourself.
Yeah, I have a couple buddies that would help to make it better.
Yeah. Find a buddy that has some mechanical skills, and you'll have it whipped out like in a normal 2 or 3 car garage in a couple of hours, 4, 5, 6 hours.
That led me to this question we got on Instagram from JMS493. I'm going to use a circular saw to cut my Swiss tracks. Do you suggest a specific blade, or would a regular wood blade be fine?
I think what you want, I forget how many. I think you want like a 32 tooth. So you want one that's designed for cutting. What do they call it? I think it's a framing blade. So you want something that's a little bit finer, but anything will cut it. So it really doesn't matter. But yeah, circular saw in many ways is easier to cut the tiles than anything else. Super simple.
All right, this is from Jim Boy on Instagram. When are you going to have Adam LZ back on as a guest? I went back and listened to his first podcast with you, and it was great. He's had so much change since then, so it'd be good to hear an hour-long chat with you both. What are your thoughts on his exhaust setup on his GT3 RS?
Yeah, I'm sure Adam will be up at some point. Yeah, I mean, the exhaust is cool. I mean, that exhaust drones quite a bit, so you'd have to be willing to deal with that. But it's, they call it the crack pipe. It's pretty cool. It's certainly loud, that's for sure. But it retains a nice tone, so having the cats, it's very clear that you'd want to keep cats with that. But yeah, it's a cool little setup.
Let's see, and I want to recognize, I think I saw him in the chat here, yeah. JC in the chat, he was visiting from Puerto Rico earlier this week, and he came here to OGHQ. It was cool to see him.
Cool.
Let's see. This is a question. It's not a question, but I wanted to read this for you from Jeff's Detailing on Instagram. Matt, I just want to comment on OG and how efficient the ordering, shipping, and receiving process is. Every time I place an order, it's shipped within the hour, and emailed alerts are provided throughout the entire shipping process. This is by far the best and most efficient process I've ever dealt with. Keep up the great work. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, man. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to have every single purchasing experience work that way. Of course, with supply and demand, we haven't been that fortunate. Hey, Bryce, check on that AC. I'm freaking sweating in here. I think that we can continue to strive for that type of experience. Shopify helps a lot with the letting people know, especially if you choose the option to, put your phone number in there so it'll text you. I mean, we're not calling you, so, we're not giving out your phone number, so you don't have to worry about that. The process of ordering, we're working on building out a more structured delivery system the most structured delivery system as possible, and so we're hoping that we can respond to larger order flow. We're about to make some significant changes here to HQ. We're going to be making an ABC inventory pulling system, where our most frequent or most purchase items will go in A, which will be as close as possible. We're going to be adding a conveyor. We're going to be doing some plastic bins for order picking, and then we're going to change the flow of how things go from picking to packing to shipping. And then, of course, we're going to have more product here, so we'll be able to spend less time running back and forth from storage units. So we're going to be we've ordered another 104 linear feet. Right now we have 62 linear feet, meaning 62 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 12 feet high. So we're going to be we ordered 104, so almost double what we have. So we'll be almost triple of what we are, almost 3 times the amount of storage to be able to pull from and keep things off the floor and out of the way and put away. Because one thing that really bothers me is when I come here and it's like a freaking bomb went off, and it's like that every single week. It's not because we're lazy, it's just because there's nowhere to put anything. So we're hoping we're going to go up and make it more efficient. Plus, me on the other side stays out of the way. So yeah, this is going to get. I think we're going to get more and more efficient.
All right, Epiphany Detailing wants to know, when you start offering the FIAC compressors, will there be an option to have Prevost fittings instead of the FIAC connections? Yeah.
So what I'm going to work on is, for like the little ones, the little tanked versions, I'm going to work on creating solutions for them, where you can buy like a whole package with a hose, a tornador, nozzles, all the things that you need to make it work. The Prevost couplers. And so we're gonna offer those. We're gonna have the wall air here shortly. We'll have the first one in the country, which is a wall-mounted hose reel and compressor all in one. For those of you who don't have the space to do a giant compressor, and I'm going to modify those and get it set up with some good quality fittings, and then we're going to have all the way up to full on rotary screw and piston compressor, silenced piston compressors, large format like 2030 CFM delivery types. So that's my next big project. It's on the way. So I'm trying to get the cars out of here. The M5 is dialed in. The Corvette's almost dialed in, and so we're gonna be this weekend. I'm gonna list the car for sale on Auto Trader and Cars.com and M3 Post. I'll probably go on M3 Post first, make a video first, see if it sells, and then start to market it if I have to.
All right, this is a question from Paul here in the chat. He wants to know, will Rupes Nano pads work with another 1-inch polisher?
Sure.
And do you sell the Rupes yellow pads individually?
Yes. We sell them they come in a 1-inch, come in a 6-pack. So you can't buy them individually. We have to buy a 6-pack of them. But yeah, they'll work on pretty much anything. I don't see why not.
Let's see. Philippe is checking in from Bavaria, Germany. He says, love your content and the style of the videos. So thanks, Philippe. That's
cool.
Nice. Nathan wants to know, have you been riding the mountain bike?
It's funny you should say that. I just rode it today. So today I rode it up. I rode it over from my house because all 3 of my cars were here. I just felt a little spry, so I rode it yesterday as well. But I'm riding it on the street, so no mountain biking.
Yeah, how do you come when you ride your bike?
I take like the least traveled way, so it's a couple of miles.
Yeah.
It takes 8 minutes to get here, but it's a fun little jaunt.
Let's see, Rohan. We have a super chat question from here. He just bought a GT4.
Mm-hmm.
My last car was a Carrera S with an AWE exhaust. What would you recommend between the Dundon Race Headers or the Fab Speed?
I'm not a Fab Speed guy, so I would definitely choose the Dundon option. Of course, the Dundon, when you do race headers and all that, it's a lot more involved on a GT4 than doing just a regular rear section. But yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not a Fab Speed fan. They've always done weird stuff with publishing weird specs on forums and stuff like that. I'm sure they're great guys. It just, I don't know. They're super shiny pipes welded together. It's just never been my thing.
We have a comment here. Bryce's hair is looking sharp today. So there you go, Bryce. Keep up whatever you're doing. Dr. Dino says, Chris, thank you and Kyle for being so gracious on taking me a tour of OG while I was in town working. That's from Jeff. So thanks, Jeff. Glad to have you. Brian Deal says happy Friday, which leads me. He emailed us a question. He's not a Facebook guy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a question he had for you. I just spent a lot of money on a new shower door and a huge remodel at my place. Maybe you could ask Matt if he employs any of his car care products /knowledge/abilities on household care and maintenance. A long way of asking what he would use on a new shower door.
I've had total aspirations to do all of this stuff, like coat the countertops, coat the stainless steel washer, also coat the the sink, and then do a glass coating on the shower and stuff. I just haven't done any of it. It's part of my repurposing my life and time on canceling. I've said no to 4 trips just this past week of people. Hey, you want to come to do this? You want to go do that? I'm like, nope. I want a travel ban. And so I want to get to the point to where I'm like looking for stuff to do. I don't know that that'll ever happen, but that's my aspiration, to be looking for things to do. And if I'm doing that, then I'm going to be really, I like one of the things I did today is I cleaned the pedestals of the pole jacks. And I know you think this is nuts, but that's what I want to do. I want to have everything in my life clean, neat, organized, and it's been stressing me out to be away from that or out of bounds on my normal process because I just took on too much. So I want to be able to today I'm just going to pop up 10 of these Swiss Trex tiles that I dumped some crap on. I'm going to go wash them off and make sure the countertops are always clean and the tops of the cabinets are always dusted, and just little things like that I've let go, and all these little home projects. I want to get distributed audio set up for the pool deck. I want to get a picnic table. I just putting a video up on Inside the Hex where I've been having this plan to put a display in Ryan's room and set up his Xbox and Switch, so it's out of my room, out of my secondary home theater, so I can put it up in his room and get him set up. And so I got that done. I got to mount some stuff in Kate's room. We'd have light bulbs out. All these little things that I'm so good at and love to do, I haven't been able to do because I've been scheduled too tightly. So I'm working toward. That's part of the reason why I'm making such a huge push to get rid of some cars. That's the main reason, so I can work on things like what he's talking about.
Yeah, and Brian, I know you're not on Facebook, but that comes up in the group fairly often. People are coding things and bead makering things, so I'll look some of that stuff up and send it your way. Brian Atchie, sorry Brian if I mispronounced that. Any updates coming to the on-wall pressure washing solution?
Yeah, we just got a bracket for the Cox reel that will allow you to be able to span across 16-inch studs. So it's a stainless steel bracket. So you'd mount the bracket to the wall, and then the hose reel to the bracket. So that's coming. Prior hose bibs we got approval for, so I'm going to be rolling out having all the prior hose bib options. And so, in fact, I'm going to work on that this weekend, getting the spreadsheet over to Matt at Prior. They really vetted us hardcore, which I really appreciate, that they gave me a shot. I've told the story, explained what I think I can do. And I think it's going to be a great partnership, talking up Prior and getting, those hose bibs readily available in a lot of the different sizing that people want that are really hard to find. So I'm going to have all of that.
All right, we have a super chat here from Jim L. Canadian dollars here, so I'm not sure how much 20 is, but that's a good amount. Hi, gents. We have a fulfillment setup, much like OG, and are in discussion with SKU Labs about using their system. Wondering if you could comment on the platform and also how SKU Labs are as a software vendor in general. Thanks.
Well, for Shopify, I think your bolt-on apps are rather limited. We vetted SKU Labs quite a bit. It was just like any CRM or inventory management software. It's an input-output thing, right? So you get out what you put in. If you don't put in the work, then it's not going to work the way you want. So we had great success with it. We were battling the idea we didn't want to leave ShipStation, and it doesn't make sense to run a fulfillment and an inventory platform unless you're going to run fulfillment through it as well. So you'll want to do that. So you'll want to do connect your UPS, FedEx, DHL, USPS, all your APIs through that. And then use SKU Labs for your management and purchase order creation and all of that. So I think it's good.
Yeah, they are super helpful, and they're always responsive when we do have an issue.
Yeah.
The one thing coming from ShipStation to SKU Labs, ShipStation is built to ship, basically. That's what they do. SKU Labs does a lot of other things. So there's little tiny things it won't do in shipping, which is a little bit frustrating. But that's when we kind of go back to ShipStation for a random order now and then.
One-off stuff,
right.
Yeah.
Little stuff like that, but they're working on that. But again, they're not shipping-only platform. Let's see. We have a super chat here from D. Ron Jones 1. Matt, what do you think of a LinkedIn group for OG? Allow us to find like-minded professionals for jobs/business services, etc.
Yeah, a lot of people have suggested that. There's the two platforms I just don't get. I just don't like LinkedIn and Twitter. There's just so much garbage. I just have such a hard time with it. There's a lot of garbage on Facebook too. Instagram is pretty clean to me, but Facebook is organized so much better that it's just much easier to navigate. So what I've found is that unless I'm going to be bought in, right? So unless I'm bought in and excited to be a part of it, it's not that it won't work. It just won't work as well, right? Because in order to continue to capture people, I need to be talking about it all the time. And I've tried this several times of things, things that like kind of one-off things, a lot like, hey, you could go on this trip. Hey, you could launch this product. Hey, you could do this. You could do that. You could end up with all these cars. You could do all these things. I found that if I'm not super interested in it, then I'm going to get lazy on it, and it just isn't going to work. It isn't going to work as well. We've done it on the forum. I've done it on many different platforms where, in fact, something just occurred to me that even comments on the Inside the Hex videos, I think maybe we should just turn those off, because I don't know why I've kind of gotten off the whole excited thing to go read comments on things. So I guess I'm all for it, but I'm just not going to do it. And so that means it's not going to go very well. It's not, it just has to do with me organizing and gathering everybody up and getting everybody together. If I don't do that, and I'm not super excited about it, because I'm not very good at pitching things. I'm only good at telling you things that I'm excited about. And if I'm not excited about something, then it just goes really awry. So because I don't really like LinkedIn all that much, it's funny. I got a cold call. I don't know how I guess my phone number's on LinkedIn or something. I got to take it off of there. So I got a cold call. First they emailed me. You saw it as GLG or whatever. So they emailed me saying they were going to call me, and they called me, and it was a Texas number. So I thought it was Rusty in Texas, maybe calling from his business line. He's the one making the MTM quick disconnects for us, a friend of mine. And so I thought, well, I'll just answer the phone, and then sure enough, it was this GLG company, and then they started asking me about becoming a consultant, and I really didn't understand what they were talking about. They have clients that must be doing some sort of market research. I think it's just a bunch of recruiters trying to recruit each other or something, but doing some market research around wealth management. So they had some regular questions for me to see if I passed the test, and I answered the questions. And then she's like, well, we would like to schedule you to become one in our consultant pool, and you would charge an hourly rate. I said, well, my rate's $5,000 an hour. She didn't bat an eye, and so she's like, okay, we're gonna send you all the stuff. So I started filling out all the stuff, and then I did the math. $5,000 an hour would mean you make $10 million a year. So I said, well, $2,500 an hour would be my target. That's my target rate. If I'm going to do something I don't want to do in my new life of doing things that aren't this provides nobody it doesn't provide anybody that watches this any value. So if I'm going to be a consultant, I want to pay it forward to the world. But in this particular case, I don't think anybody's paying anything forward. It's just a bunch of recruiters recruiting each other. And so I filled out the thing. I said I've zeroed out what their recommended was. Their recommended was if you made over $500,000 a year, that you would be charged $300 an hour. So that math doesn't work. $300 an hour, 2,000 hours a year. Well, I guess that does work, doesn't it? 300 an hour, is that $600,000? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I want $2,500 an hour. I want to make $5 million a year. And so in order to do that, I'm gonna have to charge $2,500 a year. And so then they come back and say, well, CEOs of companies, they charge about $800 or $900. And I said, well, I'm a CEO, just like everybody else is. And I said, but look, it's just not. First of all, I don't want to do it, so I'm trying to get out of it. But if they're going to pay me, $5,000 to do it, I'd do it. And so I don't even know what I'm doing. I have no idea what they're talking about. And so somehow they came up to $1,300 or something like that. And I told them, no, I'm not interested. But still.
Well, then she came back and said she was going to put you down at $2,500 an hour. So.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. That was the latest email. You're like, I'm not going to negotiate. She's like, okay, well, we'll put you down.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. That's funny. So I might be making $2,500 to an hour to do this. So,
all right. D. Ron Jones says big companies use GLG and they find people from industry so that company can get insights into a particular market. I've done a few gigs with them before. So I guess they're
say that again.
Big companies use GLG.
Yeah.
And they find people from an industry so that company can get insights into a particular market.
Got it.
I've done a few gigs with them before.
Got it.
So they want to know more about.
So this is pertaining to wealth management. Of course, I have strong experience. I don't want to say opinion because opinion wouldn't be based on anything, but I have a lot of experience, and the reason why I'm not in it anymore is because I think it's broken, and so I have some insight into why where I think that for instance, I mean, you can't do anything on social media, which is ridiculous. The people that should be on social media, if anybody it should be a financial professional, for gosh sakes, providing people some resources. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe Merrill Lynch will be paying me, $2,500 an hour to talk, which, again, if I'm going to spend an hour of this expertise, you got to freaking pay for it. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation. They cold called me. I normally just tell them to get lost. I entertained it, and then next thing I know, I'm filling out this freaking survey thing. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm supposed to be not doing crap that I don't want to do. So that's why I throw out these ridiculous numbers that if you're going to pay me that, then I guess I'd be willing to do it. But even then, it's probably not a smart thing to do. So,
well, not 2,500. Sometimes I'll get asked to tutor, and I don't really want to tutor that much anymore, so I'll just throw out a number.
Yeah.
Hoping they'll say no, and sometimes they say yes.
Well, you make it a number where it wouldn't be annoying to you.
Right.
That it would the money would overcome the annoyance of having to do something that, you didn't want to do.
Do you ship your products to Sweden? Yes, we do.
Yep.
Definitely.
It's not cheap, but we also have, one of the great things about our international shipping option is that it gives you what your landed cost is. So you have the option to pay just to ship it, and then you pay the shipping, and you figure it out on your end, or you can pay the landed cost, where we prepay duties and taxes. So it gives you an idea. It'll do the currency conversion for you. It'll give you the cost to ship it. It'll also give you the landed cost, so you can make an educated decision on it. And a lot of people probably don't go through with it because it isn't cheap. But some stuff that we have here you might want that you can't get there. I know I'd pay for it on certain things, especially if there was a platform that was this simple to do it. I modeled this after, it was a Japanese parts. Can't even remember the website. When I was buying all my S2000 parts, I could buy JDM parts, and it was a one-click solution. And I know I was paying a huge premium for that. It was overestimating the calculation to get it here. That's when I discovered how great DHL was at landing things from overseas. And so our platform is modeled after that, where you can go in and get the information that you need in order to make an educated decision.
Let's see here. Is BrakeBuster safe on all wheels?
No, I don't see why not. Yeah, just don't wash them in the sun. Don't wash them hot. And you should be fine.
Bryce is chiming in. Nengun. Is that your Japanese place you're
Yeah, Nengun. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Have you ever tried P&S Playmaker all-in-one polish?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
Based on the quality of other P&S products like BrakeBuster Interior Cleaner, I was thinking of trying Playmaker as a one-step polish. I was curious to see if you had an experience with it.
Yeah, I don't know. You could try it, but a lot of the P&S stuff, remember, is rooted in body shop type services, and so I don't know. My gut's telling me that it's not something I'm super interested in trying. But you could make that accusation that I'm being stubborn and I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't tried everything. Well, I mean, where do you draw the line? The stuff that I've tried is great, so I feel like to make little modest improvements in the amount of time I'd have to spend going after that is something that I'm just not really equipped to handle at this point. But someday, wouldn't it be great to have like a full testing lab facility to not bull crap testing, but like real testing? Like, let me just use it and see how it works. Not like putting some weird fake, $200 gloss meter on it and pretending like that's going to do it.
Let's see. Ethan here in the chat says, I paid the cost last time, talking about the to ship internationally. Mm-hmm. But then when I got it, I still had a fee. Don't know why, but I wanted my parcel. So Ethan, email Kyle at Obsessed Garage and we'll get that sorted out. That happens sometimes. And we always will refund you that cost.
Well, if he paid the shipping, but he didn't pay the landed cost.
Right.
Then you're going to have duties and import taxes. So paying the shipping cost doesn't count.
Right. But sometimes we'll have a customer that'll actually pay the duties and taxes and still get asked for it. So.
Got it. Well, that just means that the estimate wasn't correct. Yeah.
Let's see. Yoshi chimed in here in the super chat. Said, "Have you considered doing the Dundon crack pipe exhaust for your GT3 RS?"
No, it's too loud. I mean, the car is crazy loud with a regular exhaust, and I don't want it to drone. So it drones with that. So no, definitely not.
All right, Keenan chimed in on Facebook and said, "You've talked about selling the E92, knowing you'll probably buy another one at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider eventually getting a Lime Rock Edition M3?"
Yeah, I have. I'd rather have the Le Mans Blue, but yeah, that's what I would probably end up with, looking for something that like EAG, Enthusiast Auto Group, has their like inventory car that says 4,000 miles Lime Rock that I'd want to try to buy. But yeah, I mean, I would consider it if it had the right options like manual and no nav.
All right, let's see. Jonathan wants to know, since you did Kyle's carbon APR intake semi back-to-back with the Dynon intake for the M5, how would you rate the carbon quality of the less expensive APR versus the Dynon or the junk carbon you got for the Corvette?
The Dynon and APR were very similar. The APR had lots of sanding marks, so the finish wasn't as nice. The Dynon didn't. It appeared to be finished nicer, but the quality seems pretty similar. I mean, they're probably made by the same place now, wherever they source their carbon stuff, because Dynon and APR are owned by the same company in the same building. But yeah, that compared to the Corvette hunk of crap, yeah, there's no contest. But the Dynon, I should have done that thing a long time ago. It's so cool. It's so simple. Really wasn't that bad to do. Took us 4 hours taking our time.
All right, let's see here in the chat from Ian. What size OG t-shirt should I order? I'm 6'2" and about the same build as Matt.
Yeah, XL. Yeah, XL. Or, I mean, if you want to be, if you like baggy, then 2XL. But yeah, XL is what I'd normally wear.
Let's see. Eric wants to know, are there any plans to carry Mitutoyo calipers in the OG store? They're definitely OG spec.
No, I don't really have any plans at this point to do any car part carrying. I've thought about it, but I don't think so. Maybe we'd create something a little bit different. Speaking of t-shirts, I forgot to mention we're gonna have a t-shirt sale here coming up. As soon as we can take a picture and get it up, we've got all the inventory counted. So all the, not like the basic ones, the ones that we sell so much of, but all the ones that are kind of clogging up our shelves. We're gonna have a 35% off sale of shirts. We'll probably have it up Monday. We'll run it for a week or so and clean out the shirts, kind of clean it up, and that'll afford us the ability to go make some new ones.
All right, let's see. This is from Blake on Facebook. I'm currently working on outfitting the garage in our new home. I've completed the lighting, parentheses, thanks Kyle, and flooring so far. Next, I intend to add the Crenzel wall mount setup. I have the ability to pull my car into the garage for drying or even washing if I really needed to. With that known, if a person was trying to choose between the full Crenzel setup with CR Spotless or the Crenzel package minus the CR, but instead adding the polishing package with an LHR 15, what do you feel makes the most sense? I can't quite decide whether or not I need the Spotless, but I know I want to be able to start correcting and coating my vehicles.
A Spotless is much more of a luxury than anything, and you're going to find yourself using it like half the time. In fact, I don't really use mine all that much anymore. Because I'm drying the car. It's more of just to complete the look. It's a luxury. It's nice to have. But if I had a choice between the two, I definitely want polishing stuff over that. The problem is that if you're going to do it and you want it, you don't want to really add it later. You want to add it now. You want to put it in there now, and make it look complete. So you either decide you're going to do it or not.
All right, let's see. Todd on Facebook says, looking for a lift in a garage with 9-foot clicking height. We know the chase for an OG spec lift company is on, but want thoughts on a low-rise lift.
Lifts. You're stressing me out on that one. That's a whole week project that I've got to get on. I don't know what to do with Twin Bush. And then Nussbaum, the margins are terrible, and same thing with Benpack. They're on my list, and I just keep procrastinating on. I need to call Tyler back at Benpack. I need to call the guys at Nussbaum back. I need to call Dan at Twin Bush. I need to just I'll need to take a few days and just dig deep and figure out what we're going to carry and how we're going to do it, and then what's the rollout of that. Yeah, it's so time and capital intensive, and it's such little money. I almost want to just frickin' punt them in the trash. But I'm so focused on providing an end-to-end solution. It's just there's so much to go wrong. I mean, again, we wiped out our entire year and a half's worth of profit on lifts because they sent me some freaking import duty tax bullcrap that I should have never agreed to. And so it's like I paid money to sell 100 lifts.
And our buddy Brad Bacon is chiming in the chat here. Lift traffic has never been higher.
Shoot. All right.
You're stressing them out. All right. Joe wants to know, do you have any thoughts on offering different color protectors for the new Mosmatic stainless nozzle assemblies? Like a red or blue protector on the 25 degree to distinguish it from a black 40 degree.
Yeah, I guess we could do that. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'd want it to be something subtle. That's a good idea.
I like to have the 25 for certain situations during my wash, but keeping track of which is which is a pain. That's a good idea, Joe.
Yeah.
Writing that down. He also asked, I asked this last week, may have missed it, but any plans to carry the Incredipole kit in the OG store?
Yeah, it's something that I probably should get. It'd be great to have like the Raptors roof.
Yeah, for SUVs and trucks and stuff.
Add that to the list, yeah.
Right. That shouldn't be too hard. Well, famous last words. Bryce says, buy me a 3D printer, Matt, and I'll design the, what's it called? Nozzle assemblies. No, it's not in the budget, Bryce. Is the Corvette going to be a giveaway car?
No. The Corvette, yeah, it's going to be me giving away a large portion of my money to sell it to somebody, if that's what you call a giveaway. But no, it won't be a formal giveaway. Somebody's going to buy it. Yeah. So.
All right, we have a couple kid-themed questions here. I know you mentioned the latest Inside the Hex video has Ryan in there. So Aaron on Instagram says, do you think your kids will follow in your footsteps and take over OG HQ in due time? What do you think they'll want to do when they're older?
No, I don't think so at all. I think what I'm hoping is that by me setting this example of you don't just do just to do. You don't have to work for something or a company or a place that you don't like just so that you can get a certain amount of money. So what I'm hoping is that I'm instilling the ability for them to chase passion, chase what they find interesting. My suspicion is they won't find this as interesting, and I wouldn't want them to settle. And so I'm hoping that I'm teaching them to not settle and to possibly, do a better, take a path that not everybody gets to take. And take it much sooner than I would. So.
All right, a related question from Buffalo Bob on Instagram, and I'm going to kind of edit this a little bit because just to make it easier for you. But with your struggles with OCD, he's recently had a granddaughter who was diagnosed with that. He wants to know if your kids were diagnosed with that, knowing what you know, how would you help them, or what would be your plan there?
Yeah, I mean, I just had a lady reach out to me. The first thing I think that can be really helpful is you get some genetic testing done, and that testing will help with figuring out what you may or may not be deficient in vitamin wise and things like that. So I'd focus on that. I'd focus on what is in front of the child. What are they freaking out about? What's their phobia? What's their issue? And try to help alleviate that. Some of it can be pressures of life, and a lot of it's undue pressure, like you got to get good grades, or I'd kind of try to figure out and make sure that they knew that none of that crap matters. Getting an A on a test or something like that. I mean, you got to get through it, but I mean. I think that I would so I'd want to know, is there some sort of deficiency, and then I would want to just try to figure out how to keep them out of having too much pressure. Like for me, the very clear thing that sends me off the deep end is too much pressure, from putting too much pressure on myself. And so if I do that, then I head off of the freaking reservation. and so I need to manage that. And my natural tendency is to head down that path, and so I need to identify these extraneous or these external sources that cause angst. And so I, as a third party, would want to sort of dig into what my kid's up against, and see what is the root cause. Try to find out the root, rather than just, just throw them to the wolves, throw them to a doctor, and let them put them on all kinds of medication.
All right, we got a question here from Joe on Facebook, and I know this has come up here recently. Were there plans to upload the cheap pressure washer spreadsheet at some point? Be nice to have that data as new models come available to compare to them.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's I've set a time frame on for our quarterly email newsletter. I'm going to publish it there, and then we'll publish it on the site. So I'd say in the next couple of weeks.
All right. Russell chimed in here in the chat and said, by the way, the person asking about Mitutoyo calipers was talking about measuring calipers like a dial/digital caliper, not brake calipers. That's these things.
It's like car parts. And what am I going to do that? Yeah, maybe. That sounds like a good idea.
They look fancy.
Yeah. I like fancy.
Let's order 10 of them. Let's see. Matt, what in your opinion is the next great detail product that will have everyone talking? You got any inside info you can share with us?
Take out great and everyone talking, and take those. Those are directly inversely correlated. I don't know. I think we're just going to continue to see improvements in what already exists. But something that changes the game, I mean, if it comes, I mean, we won't see it coming. So I wouldn't be able to predict that. But certainly, if everybody's talking about it, probably isn't any good. Or not good enough. It's like you're talking about a diet pill, but nobody's talking about exercise. So I don't think that great and next big thing kind of fit together very often. And it's very rare that something like that happens. Like, the Rupes long throw machines were great, but they weren't really even new. They've been out a long time in Europe. That they made improvements on them, but those machines really weren't something brand new. A company that was 90 years old that had been making different versions of that forever. So I don't know. I think it would be more of what use of something great, do we discover they can make significant improvements to how you either service a car's paint, or maybe it'll be a breakthrough in paint. I think the bigger breakthrough will be in PPF, as that becomes more contourable and still maintain thickness. That can be a big game changer.
All right, Adam wants to know, are you going to get the new Rupes Nano extension?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and we'll have it in stock when it comes.
All right. Dan wants to know, any update on when the 1/4-inch T304 plug will be back in stock? Press all parts, etc. Press all parts are still being made, basically. The 304 stainless plugs, we are getting that first order sent this way. Hopefully next week it'll be on its way. We're getting a bunch of those Mosmatic parts as we make the transition.
Yeah. We're transitioning all of our old packages over to the new gun, and it's going to be a little bit of a transition period here of us having the appropriate amount of stock on things.
Let's see. Michelle M. from Lady Lake is chiming in here. She says, you have a super prayer-filled wife who is praying neither of the kids have to deal with the angst.
Yeah.
There you go. That's good. Quincy wants to know, how far out is the vacuum solution?
It's apparently not very close, although I was super annoyed today using that crappy Rigid that I'm using. But yeah, it'll happen someday.
All right, we have a T-shirt request here from Matthew Santa Cruz on Facebook. Need a T-shirt that says, if looking cool was horsepower, this car would have a lot of horsepower. From Bryce. I guess he said that in the video. When we clear out all the old T-shirts, maybe that'll be the next one. Geo chimes in on Facebook. Seeing the new PF 22.2 bottle quick disconnect in action got me thinking. For the next version that Rusty drafts up, could it be designed with an integrated dry brake like on some fueling systems? The bottle will be sealed off when not attached to the foam can without need for a separate cap. Likely a whole different bottle design would be best, but that in turn will allow for an opportunity to reduce overall bulk/height.
The problem with
There's
that,
that little picture there.
yeah, the problem with something like that is that you don't want it to be a dry break because you need to fill it up, right? So I don't want to have to depress something when I'm filling up the bottle if I can help it. And I'm sure you could integrate it into a collar somehow, but you'd have to be able to open the bottle up so you can fill it with water, with soap, to let it dry out or drain. Because the point is we don't want to be unthreading off the plastic neck. But yeah, there's some other things we have in mind that we might consider.
And those, by the way, were shipped out today, so they're on their way.
Yeah, so they're going to be, like I said, somewhere around, $80-$90, and then the other part, the cap is going to be another, 25 or 30, something like that. We got to add up the total cost and figure out what the retail is going to be, because we made 25 of them to start. So this is really low volume, low production, high precision type product that is going to be for early adopters only.
All right, let's see. Nick wants to know here in the chat. Hey, Matt, what was your first car?
A 1988 Pontiac Sunfire GT, 1.8 liter turbo junk. I bought it for $2,500 cash in 1997.
And then, were you into detailing on it at that point, or did
washing it, but I didn't know what I was doing. But yeah, I always had it clean. We're super into car stereo, so I was hacking up back seats and trying to dynamite everything and all that stuff.
Let's see. We got a fun question here from Nicholas on Instagram. Hey, Matt, if you had to pick one thing to do, and you had to do this for the rest of your life, what would it be? Number 1, wash your hands every time after going to the bathroom.
Okay.
Number 2, talk about how awesome the Z06 is. Number 3, eat a stinky salad every day. Or number 4, use Turtle Wax and Armor All products exclusively.
Oh, shoot. I'd probably wash my hands after going to the bathroom. Because I probably wash my hands more than most normal humans do. I just don't do it when it's a stupid time to do it. Do it when my hands are dirty, not when they're clean. So,
good stuff.
Yeah. I'm also not going to wear a mask around that doesn't do anything. Look like an idiot.
All right, Anthony, I think it's Anthony, on Instagram says, Hey, Matt, I'm in my final semester of college. My major is finance, and my minor is wealth management. I recently accepted a position into an advisor development program. What were some ways that you were able to survive the first few years as an advisor? I currently sell home theater equipment, much like yourself. After watching the This Is Me series a few years ago, I've been a part of the channel ever since. Thanks.
Yeah, having a sales background is key because you're going to have to learn how to sell yourself to people. And so you're going to want to immerse yourself into everything you can. I would probably start a CFA right now. So get your CFA and then immediately get your CFP. And, the other hard part is at 22 years old, assuming you're 22, 23, depending on how you look and how you carry yourself, you're going to have a, difficult time convincing a 70-year-old to let you manage their life savings. And so that's the most difficult part is that, one, who are you going to call, who are you going to talk to, how are you going to talk to them? You can't do it on social media, so be very, very careful with that. So you have to do old school methodologies to go out and either network, which is ridiculous, or go out and cold call, which doesn't really work anymore, because you'll have to adhere to the rules. You won't be able to just call people without running them through the do not call registry. And so you really won't be able to call any cell phones, and very few people have a home phone. So you'll only be calling like weird old people. They'll be the only people you'll be able to call, and then everybody's calling them, and so they're already on guard. They're just too weird and too old to figure out that you could just go put yourself on a do not call registry, right? And get off of the list of people, and then maybe get rid of that phone. So those are the people you're going to be calling. And so what are you going to do? You're going to go do the Edward Jones model where you go knock on everybody's door and they want to pull a shotgun on you. But, don't let me discourage you that you can figure it out. And if you do a lot of any of these things that really don't work, if you do enough of it, so it'll work. But it's one of those things like how are you gonna do it? You're gonna get on LinkedIn, and then you're so limited on what you can post. It all has to be pre-approved and all this bull crap. Pre-approved by somebody who doesn't know anything about anything, by the person who's paid the least in the financial firm, and knows the less with the least education and doesn't know how to market. So it's a crapshoot, man. I say good luck. Try to find somewhere where they give you clients so you don't have to go find them.
All right, Jeff wants to know specifically which prior products do you plan to offer in the store?
P164 will be the primary. The P118, which is their new version, hot and cold version. Was it C1C something? C is like a knob and side nozzle. And then the dual hot cold. I got to get my model numbers right. So it'll be like 5 different parts. And there's something called a Brick Buddy, which will allow us to have something to mount to. I'll show you all that stuff soon. So when we get it here.
All right, Shaz29 here in the chat says, now that it's been some time, can you go over your PPF experience with your GT3? Does it take away from the paint's look? Would you recommend using it on a light-colored car?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sold on PPF. It's a good thing to have. Kind of stinks that you're managing it and you're looking at it all the time, but both the GT3 RS and the GT4 will both have PPF. So I thought about not doing PPF on the GT4, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, it's, you can maintain it. You're just going to have to, I think for me, I was going to replace a bunch of it on the GT3 RS because it was, a couple of years in. So this dream of you having a 10-year warranty or all this bull crap warranty stuff, it's useless. I'm not going to make it that long. So every couple of years I'm going to be pulling stuff off and redoing it.
All right, Paul says he's building his own H2O filtering setup. Any tips on how to match the filter flow rate to match up with the pressure washer? What I've tried so far seems to be restrictive, and the pressure washer struggles.
Yeah, I think it's the head, like the head on the RV Transformers and the DI Rinse Pro, or the DI whatever they call all the ones that are based off of Glenn's design. They flow 10 gallons a minute. So if you just get that head, then you shouldn't have a problem. I think it's a pretty common bypassable head that passes 10 gallons a minute. You just need a big tank. You need to have a big tank of resin.
All right, let's see. Francisco says, I need a new radar detector. Gave my old Max 360 to my dad. With that being said, would you choose the Max 360C or Uniden R7 and why?
Yeah, Uniden R7 is the way to go. But just go on Vortex, vortexradar.com, and he'll tell you exactly what to get. But yeah, I think the Uniden R7 is the best one.
We have another one here from Michelle M. in Lady Lake. Matt, how was your first Home Goods experience? I've never been there before, so you got there before I did.
So my coach talks about this all the time, that and I know a lot of people will. I'm gonna tell on myself a little bit here. So I know a lot of people would disagree with this, but my coach talks about staying grounded, right? As I become hopefully more and more successful as a human, you become more and more detached from reality, from what regular people deal with. I know a lot of people would say that I'm detached from that. No, I'm very keenly aware of it. I just choose what to do and what not to do. And one thing I choose not to do is to go into crappy stores that have crappy stuff to try to save $5 when they're just scamming you. It's like no, you're getting really brand name, good quality stuff for less because they make more. No, they're making that junk just for these crappy stores. And so I found myself going into Home Goods. Michelle talked me into. She's like, "We can just go to get a TV stand there." And so for the first time in my life, I'm like, "Well, we're gonna get Ryan a display." I went online for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes to try to figure out, okay, what display am I gonna get? I'm gonna give it an LCD. Because that way if he leaves it on accidentally, it's not going to burn in. I'd rather have OLED, but so I found myself looking at 65 OLED, and I'm like, well, now we're $2,000, and because LCD sucks, but then he's going to end up burning it in, and that's just not going to be good. So I just went to Best Buy and was staring at the wall, and let the Best Buy guy talk me into doing a Samsung over a Sony. And I bought an LCD, and we went to Home Goods, and I bought a regular person's TV stand, instead of doing a massive amount of research, buying something from like Salamander Designs or something like that. And so I go in this is a dual Home Goods and Marshalls. So we're standing in the cattle herding line. They've got 2 people working there. And then there's a bunch of entitled people standing in line that are going to spend like $12, but I can just see them thinking entitled, and I'm sitting there just judging everything and everybody. And I had to bring myself back into check and say, don't be a jerk. Just let it go. Let it be what it is. Let everybody else shop there. I'm never freaking going back. But let everybody else do their thing and enjoy it. I'm glad that Michelle enjoys it so that we're not broke. and so this was a wake-up call to me to stay grounded. And so I was gonna take a leave of absence from my strategic alliance group as I'm in this quitting mode of quitting all these extraneous things. And that's where Rick and I had this conversation about the great part about it is to see other businesses and people at all walks of life at all stages to help keep you grounded and not stuck on an island by yourself in this bubble. Because the vast majority of the people that build corporations or build businesses, a lot of times they become very detached from reality. They become very centered around what only doing what they're just not very aware of things. And I think that part of the reason why the business has been so successful is because I'm very, very aware. Again, I choose not to. Choose when to pander and when not to. For instance, I don't know if this example correlates directly, but when I go to a training, say I would go to Esoteric, or I went to Esoteric. I went to Ivan when he was at Optimum. I went to I've been training with Jason Rose, and if I ever go out and see Rennie Doyle's process, I go into it. It's not that I'm playing dumb. It's just I'm dropping all my stuff, all my baggage off, and I'm going into it pretending like I don't know anything. And then I'm going to use the confirmation of things that I learn and pick up little tidbits and add it to my process. And so, I'm sure, if someone look back and say, well, you're just doing that because Ivan told you, or you're doing that because Todd told you. So, well, how do you know I wasn't already doing that? I just went there and picked up some tips, and so I don't even know where I was going with that. What were we talking about?
Staying grounded.
Yeah. So I think that I like to try to do the same thing with life and videos, and part of my style is to just tell it like it is. And a lot of people that are listening, 90% of them get it, and 10% of them, they're the ones who make comments on YouTube, don't have a freaking clue what's going on here. They think, oh, this guy's so detached from reality. Actually, I'm very well grounded. I even went to Home Goods, and I realized I was judging everybody there, and so I brought myself back to check. And it's not that I thought I was any better. It's just like, why would anybody subject themselves to this garbage? Picking through shelves that are all disorganized and dirty and all this stuff that you're pretending like you're getting a great deal. No, they made this stuff for this place. They just make it look like it's some great deal. They just produce a bunch of garbage and put it on shelves and make it look like it's something that was fancy at one point that now is just garbage on a shelf.
It looks like a TJ Maxx Ross kind of place.
Yeah. It's the same thing, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Just a hodgepodge of, like, you can get yourself we bought an all-clad, whatever you call
frying
it.
Pan?
Yeah. Rather than Michelle was recruiting you on this. Mm-hmm. Oh, just get their extra stuff that they couldn't sell elsewhere. No. Come on, Michelle. They made this stuff specifically for Home Goods, and then they only put 2 on the shelf to make it look like you're getting a great deal. It's a genius business model. It's a bunch of really rich people taking advantage of poor people. That's what the place is.
Yeah, Megan introduced me to Ross and TJ Maxx. I'd never really been there.
They're really rich people that are really attached to what regular people want. It's a genius business model. But my gosh, I was miserable. I was like crawling out of my skin.
And where... this question came up to me. Where, if you were going to get a TV stand, where would you have been looking or gotten?
Well, I would go to Salamander Designs. I would look at, there really aren't many. Restoration Hardware. Restoration is not typically, they're not built very well for it, so you have to modify them, like cut the backs out and stuff. But I'd be looking at high-end furniture, or of course you can go to BDI, Salamander, Furniture Tech, I think it's called, Furnitech. So there's some companies that make specific home theater type products, but I didn't want to buy a $2,000 stand for Ryan's room, so we bought a $200 one at Home Goods.
There you go.
Yeah, I felt like a real red-blooded American. I went to it's like people who go to the store and be like, let me go see what kind of car I'm gonna buy. That's like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. Well, I did that. I get it. It's like you do no research, you're just lazy in life, and you just show up and like, oh, I'm going to get whatever TV's on sale, or I'm going to get whatever fits. Whatever somebody sells me on today, instead of like going and saying, I want this, I'm going to seek that out. I guess that's how most people do life, right?
I suppose, too, it depends on the product and how much. Some things you care about, some things you don't really care. Toilet paper, cereal, TV stands.
No,
you got to draw the line somewhere.
I care about all those things.
That explains a lot. All right, Vet Q8 says, I'm learning a lot from your videos. Sincerely, your fans from Kuwait. So we got somebody Kuwait watching. That's cool.
Yeah, I think, it's so interesting. You can see very clearly people that just watch it for what it is, and ones that watch it with like this chip. I just don't understand it.
Just tell him how terrible he is.
No, it's ridiculous. It's like crazy, especially something that I'm like loosely, like I don't know a lot about. Yeah, that's a good example. Go on Sam the Cooking Guy's video and say, look, you're an idiot. You buttered that bun wrong. Like, come on. Like, it would never even occur to me. It's so weird. You'd have to be completely oblivious. And just a horrible judge of character. So it's just fascinating to me.
All right, Ty wants to know, with a $50K budget, E90 or F10 M5 for a fun daily driver that might see a track day or two.
Yeah, E90 for sure. You can get a real nice one for that.
Let's see. We have another Canadian friend here. Maddie, when you start your garage solutions business, would you be down to travel to Canada and build my custom garage with me?
No, probably not.
All right.
That would be another one of those, well, if you're going to pay me $40,000 on top of buying all the stuff, then yeah, I mean, it'd make me an offer I can't refuse. But otherwise, yeah, probably not. I can't even build my own freaking garage in a reasonable amount of time. So, yeah, I want to go everywhere. I want to do everything. I want to be everything to everybody. But I'm just wound so gosh darn tightly that I just can't do it. I just can't enjoy it. Because then I'm living in the destination of getting everything done. Like, if I plan 4 trips, I'm like living at the end of them instead of living through them. It's ridiculous.
All right, Adam asks, when is the foam cannon Quick Connect coming to the store? Hopefully the next week or two.
Yeah.
Robert asks, any recommendations on how to get an allocation for a limited production supercar? Your thoughts on using a broker?
Yeah, man. Good luck. I don't know. I haven't figured that out. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I mean, the way to do it is just buy a bunch of cars from the darn dealership and just keep buying all the crap that they have in order to get, the one that you want. But you got to have some deep pockets to do that. Even at my $2,500 an hour rate, I don't have enough money to do that. So, yes, I'm stuck with taking what I can get. But that would be the formula, would be to figure out how to get in the good graces.
Tanner chimes in the chat here. Sam, the cooking guy, wiping his whole face using the entire paper towel roll drives me nuts.
Oh, no, that's I love that. I'm like, I wish I'd never seen that because I want to do that. Now I can't do it because it's just brilliant. It's so great.
Tim, right after that, says, Tanner, that's one of my favorite things that Sam does.
Oh, my gosh. I lose it every time he does that. I think it's fantastic. It's so fantastic.
Tanner, our good Canadian friend. We're overrun with Canadians today. Let's see. Any updates on Raptor? on what's going on with the Raptor?
Good call. Yeah, good question. So in this theme of I've neglected so many different things in life that I enjoy doing, one of them is keeping things maintained, right? Keeping everything maintained, like not wiping the countertops when they're dirty, but keeping them wiped all the time, and staying, preemptive, if you will, preventative. And so the Raptor has kind of gotten in disarray, and to keep up with Michelle is really hard, because it's a gosh darn disaster. Oh, Michelle would say keep up with the kids. I put them all together. They get lumped together in one package. So the steps weren't working, the door ajar. This is why I freaking hate dealerships and why I just fix things myself and why warranties are ridiculous. So the Raptor's door sensor, or so we thought, was a sensor. When you close the door, it would show the right rear door was open. And so the lights would stay on, and then eventually the steps stopped working because it thought that all the doors were open. And then the oil needed change and all this stuff. So last night I finished what I needed to finish. I had David here working on the Corvette. Otherwise I would have been jerking around with the stupid Corvette. And this is why if the Corvette's not in my life, then this stuff doesn't happen. I don't get I get to tinker and get to stay preventative on things. But I went and I in like 8 minutes figured out what the problem was by making a couple of Google searches. And sure enough, two of the wires are split in the door. And so I popped it open, saw, two of the wires had broken because there's this weird little filament in there that keeps the structural rigidity of the wires. So I ripped that filament out, gaffer taped it, connected them, changed the oil. Magically, the steps start working. And now I have a few more things to tinker to get the steps. They need to be taken apart and oiled and greased because they'll get hung up halfway up. And I felt like a gosh darn $1,000,000 instead of feeling this weight of procrastination. And so what we're going to be doing is Moderator's Weekend. We're going to be doing a 3-year follow-up on the coating, total coating neglect. We're going to repolish, recoat it. I bought new wheels and tires. I got to get an alignment done. I also found that 2 of the I don't know if they're axle, whatever they are, the axle boots, they're leaking oil, and so probably need to get some new drive axles or something like that. I'm not even sure what they're called, but they're from RPG. So yeah, the Raptor's going to get a nice little overhaul, a little clean up, little dial in. The engine bay needs to get cleaned up, and then clean the interior. We're going to do leather care, leather maintenance, and fix anything that needs to be fixed on. It's going to be great.
Lots of Raptor stuff coming up here.
Yep.
Tanner says, FYI, Sam is also Canadian. Just saying.
He lives in San Diego, though.
Yeah. Tim chimed in, I went to Sam the Cooking Guy's restaurant, Not Tacos, a few months ago. It's really good, but loud inside. And yeah, I looked it up. It's in San Diego. It gives you an excuse to go to San Diego now.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going anywhere. Travel ban.
Any updates on Rupez's training since last we spoke? Last week.
6th and 7th of August.
And when will that be? When will people be available?
So it'll be $1,000. I should probably think about launching it soon if we're going to do it.
We've had a few people email this week asking about that.
And then I need to start talking it up so I don't have to try to get people at the last minute. And this, I want to do it in the summer because it was so fun. We can go hiking and do some things around the area. It'd be super cool. And so I want to convince people to come. If you're going to come the whole weekend. So come. It'll be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So come Wednesday night. Thursday, Friday are the trainings. Thursday night is a dinner. We all get together, and then have Saturday, Sunday to go do some fun stuff. I think it'd be awesome.
Here's a good question for you. You like this one? Are you going to get the new C8?
C8 what? The C8 C8 LG OLED. It's C9 now. So, but yes, I'm going to get a C9. But C8 Corvette, God no. Not in your life. If you gave it to me, I'd punt it right in the trash. If I got one for free, I would literally just take it out to the range and just use my AR-15 for the first time or second time ever, and just light that thing up. God no, the thing's freaking hideous. Stupid car.
Matt, is it safe to say that the Corvette ownership experience was less than ideal?
It's my fault. I shouldn't have done it. I'm an idiot. Just, we can blame it on me and call me what you want. I took on too much. I should have done it at a different time in life. It seemed like a good idea, but it'll give people fuel to give me a hard time, to feel better about themselves, whatever. But yeah, it's too much. It's too much work. I got it about 50% of the way there where I probably would have ended up. I probably would have ended up with a cam and and a mild tune and getting the right exhaust dialed in, and the suspension's great, the wheels are good, the interior's dialed in, the paint's fixed up, the paint's in great shape. The interior is coming together, and I'll finish that up here. All the carbon fiber parts are great, so all the little things I did, I'm just not going to get to finish it. Where I wanted to do a new throttle body, do some adjustments to the intake, and probably again do some tuning to the car to make it a little bit more, or a little bit better, if you will, bigger pulley, port and polish, things like that. But I'm not into it. I'm done. Too many big projects. I want to work on little projects that I find interesting, so I can fix all of these things. And I don't feel bad about chasing this, and I feel like it's important for me to talk about these kind of things, even though I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for it. Maybe not a lot, but some heat for being wishy-washy, or not being not knowing myself, or not being whatever, appreciative, or whatever you want to say it. I don't know what I'm doing. We're building this massive business, and I'm having a blast, and I got a little ahead of myself by doing too much stuff, and it's really helped me figure out what I really want to do. And I guarantee I'll do it 10 more times as I continue to pursue stuff, and I'm totally okay with it. I'm actually really enjoying the ratcheting back. It feels super. I feel super accomplished as I quit stuff, or as I finish things. And as the pile around the wall over there of stuff gets, every day, I just took another thing off the pile. I took the Dynon intake off the pile. Took the wicker bill. What a stupid name, wicker bill, off the pile. We're going to take the rear valance, the rear splitter off the pile. And then the cars are going to take all that pile of stuff with them. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to get clean, so when the GT4 comes, I'm like clamoring for it, instead of like, oh gosh, GT4's coming, oh my gosh, I'm going to fit that in. It's the most ridiculous thing ever, so I can't let that happen again. At least not anytime soon.
That's a good segue for this question. What mods are you considering for the GT4?
Just the normal stuff. We would probably do DSC controller, radar detector, polishing, PPF, coating, lower it with the factory suspension, exhaust, maybe intake plenum if Dundon comes out with something for that. But just little simple bolt-ons, but one at a time. One thing at a time in the appropriate order, instead of just chaos where I order everything. Luckily with this, it'll have to be one at a time because the car's new. So that's the goal, is to do one thing at a time. Complete it, do another thing. Complete it, do another thing. That way I'll provide more value to everybody, because I'll really dig in, instead of just giving all the superficial stuff. Like Corvette got nothing but superficial stuff. Meaning I just kind of fit it in. The M5, I'm just fitting it in. The M3, completely neglected. The paint is in the worst condition of any car I've ever owned, with water spots and contamination and everything. I can't have that.
All right, our friend from Washington, D.C., Chris Donatelli, wants to know, where do you get your vinyl stickers?
We've changed companies a bunch. I'm not sure where we're getting them now.
Well, the ones for the bucket package we get locally. Those are done locally. But like the Obsessed Garage logo, you don't remember where?
It was Levi's buddy out in Idaho. I don't remember. Yeah. I'm kind of detached from that. You guys have been taking care of that for me.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've ordered those, so that was even before I had any input there. Are the stock headers back on the C7 yet?
There'll be a Sunday.
Let's see. I think you like this. Tim says, imagine how many views a video titled "Florida Man Lights Up His New Corvette with an AR-15" would get. Get a lot.
So, yeah, if I get one for free, I'm going to freaking light that thing on fire.
Mobility Today says, Matt, any reason Beadmaker would be reacting oddly with Ceramic Pro? I'm getting odd dots randomly that take excess rubbing. Do you think it's a bad ceramic coating or maybe just bad Beadmaker?
I don't know. Yeah, I've never seen that. I don't see why it would do that.
Antimatter says, hi, Matt. I bought an Ely hose reel, and it came with hose disconnects. They are amazing. Quality's off the charts. Have you used them?
I don't like those at all. They're giant. They're super heavy, and they fail a lot quicker than the cheap Chinese ones. So I've had them. Yeah, they look fantastic, but they don't really work very well. So good luck with those. Yeah, they're too bulky. In fact, they're so darn heavy that like my hose would kink. So yeah, I like that, and I love them in theory. But that was the one thing that quickly got swapped out for mine because they all failed.
Brian S. says, Matt, I'm going to ceramic coat my truck soon. It's a lease, and I want the coating to last 2 years. Would you recommend the C-Quartz 3.0 or CSL Light for durability?
Either one's fine, but I like CSL much better. But CSL topped with EXO. Same thing. If you can do UK, top it with Gliss. And you'll get 2 years out of it if you maintain it. Wash it, once every other week or so at a minimum.
Let's see. Brandon says, just placed my first order with the OG store. Wanted to say thanks for all you do and all the info that you provided.
That's cool, man. I really wonder how significant this can get. I wonder if we can do like 1,000 orders a day or something, and just do that regularly. I think we can.
January, we were up like 60% over last year, and February was 50-something% over last year. So
good.
It's maintaining.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is Matt still wanting to sell the M3? Yeah, we discussed that maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it would have to be. You'd have to make it easy on me. Meaning, all right, Matt, I got $75,000. I'm gonna wire the money. I'm coming to get the car. That would have to be the deal, and you'd have to make it so where I couldn't refuse. And you're like, here's what I want. I want the M Performance seats in there. You don't have to do anything else to it. Don't worry about it. I'll paint correct it. I'll take care of everything. I'm just, I want all the stock parts. And here's my guy's coming to pick it up on this day. That's the way it would have to be. Otherwise, you get freaking bent. I'm not dealing with it. I'd keep it rather than having to deal with somebody freaking negotiating with me and all that. So if somebody said at $75,000, and I'm gonna come get it, and I'm freaking complaining about it's too much money and all this bull crap. Then I'll just keep it. But if you want it and you want to take it off my hands, you're gonna I don't know. That's the way I do it. And be like, let's say you had the car one. I said, Chris, don't freaking touch it. Just leave it alone. You don't have to finish fixing anything. I'll fix it myself. Just leave it alone. My guy's going to be there on Tuesday. What's your routing and account information? I'm going to send you the money. And I don't want you driving it anymore. So don't make any more videos of it. I'm just going to come get it. And done. Why isn't every transaction that way? It's every transaction I'm a part of. It's the way it works. The guy, the M5. Hey, I'm buying it. Let me send you the money right now. Michelle, my wife, is going to come up there and get it. You don't even have to be there. They put the keys in the garbage can. They open the garbage can up and pull the keys out. And they're like recycling bin. And it was gone. Out of sight, out of mind. It took freaking 25 seconds. So if you want the M3, that's what you got to do.
All right, Caleb says, how loud was your F80 with the AWE exhaust? I just bought an AWE track edition with no muffler for my M4, and it's so crazy loud, I think I need to convert it to switch path with a muffler.
Yeah, the other one was very manageable. Wasn't too loud at all. And it's really encouraging to see the equal length exhausts that are coming out. It's really odd. They take the one side and like make this giant 3-foot loop in order to get the exhaust to equal lengths, and it helps get rid of a lot of the weird farty crap. That's really encouraging for the F80. Makes it sound kind of cool.
Another question here about the Incredipoll. So Epiphany, yes, we discussed that earlier. We're going to look into that. Bernard says, I love your wash and talks. Will you be doing more of those in the near future? Love the channel.
Oh, yeah. Tons of those. That's the plan. Keep my cars clean. Do wash and talks all the time. Yeah. Got to figure out my freaking cameras. I'm waiting for the new the EOS R5, whatever. Bryce is cringing, but that's the camera. Looks like the one. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing lots of that. Wash and talk, wash and drive, product development, product talking, lots of vlogging, a lot of little home projects and things like that, both on the channel and inside the Hex. Nice and simple, and really dialing in my freaking life. So I'm telling you, once we get these this new shelving here, I'm gonna be a gosh darn machine, yelling at everybody if there's a freaking speck of dust anywhere. We're gonna get this place in tip-top condition. No more janky.
Mike Bellows says, Matt, did you have a short shifter kit for your F80? Looking for a recommendation for mine.
I didn't do one. I found the shift link, which was pretty good on that. And a lot of times you can end up with a lot of feedback, and I don't think there really isn't an MGW version for that car. There's what is it? Auto Solutions does for the E92. I think that's what I have on mine. But I don't think he makes anything for the F80, but I could be wrong.
All right, couple more questions here before we call it a day. Anthony wants to know, what would be your ideal exhaust setup for the E92 M3?
It's a quad resonated catless mid pipe, and so the Dynon is, I think, the best sounding one. But I think it's either Borla or Magnaflow makes a quad resonated catless mid pipe, and then most rear sections sound pretty good. I have the Dynon on mine. The Dynon's kind of weird because only one of the outlets is actually an outlet. But I'm sure there's lots of great rear section options you could choose. I tried the Iceman Sport, and I thought that was too raspy. Iceman Race is probably going to be a little too loud. But there's lots of good options. Actually, one of the exhausts I thought sounded great was American Racing Header's exhaust for that car. Something, an American exhaust on that. But I'd stay away from all the goofy crap, the IPE and Army Tricks and FI and all the Chinese-made, Taiwanese-made junk, wannabe stuff.
All right, there we go. That's all we got for today.
All right, I'll go back to finish up the interior on the Corvette, and I'll be doing wrap-up videos for the M5 likely this weekend, the modifications I've chosen and why. So I'm going to make that video, last drive. And then a for sale ad. So if you want that car before I do all that, you can save me a lot of trouble. Or you can just wait until I do all that work and then do it because you wanted to watch it. At least that's what I would want to do. Tell you what, you buy the car, I'll make whatever video you want. We'll call that a deal. Maybe not whatever video you want, but anything pertaining to the M5.
Shopping spree at Home Goods video with Matty.
Yeah, so you buy the car, and man, wait till you see the photos of it. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. The Corvette looks good too. I just need to move on. In a perfect world, I'd keep them all, but I'd even keep the Corvette. As much as I dislike it, I would keep it just to have something so different. But it's not a perfect world, and I'm not one that can just sit on cars. Like I can't do that. Like people are like, just put your M3 in a storage somewhere. I'm like, I'll know it's there, and I won't be able to handle that. I just can't. I can't do it. So, anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a good day.